This is an art collage novel video. I made this series so you guys can experience the story faster. The video will focus on the character's psychology, the images are for illustration purposes only. In the endless void, all kinds of negative energy collided with each other. This was an eternal land of death. It was pitch black and there was no light. Only a few auroras would occasionally flash, and it was extremely dull. The Divine Realm tablet was shuttling back and forth aimlessly. The phantom dragon looked around with a solemn gaze, hoping to find a crack to rush back to the heavenly martial continent. Otherwise, it might disappear forever in the void if it wandered aimlessly. Suddenly, his pupils shrank, revealing a look of shock. A huge mass of energy was slowly gathering in front of him. It was the most common void particles. It was not a big deal if there were only a few of them, but once they exceeded the range, it was abnormally terrifying. The ball of void particles grew larger and larger, as if it was on the verge of exploding. There was a saying that all the terrifying power in the void was formed from these particles that were constantly condensed and then exploded. It could be said that they were the source of all void energy. At this moment, the demon dragon was on the verge of exploding. He bitterly raised his head and said to himself, could it be that we really can't escape this time? Yunxiao's strength had been gradually fading when his life and death were unknown. At this moment, he was shocked even though he was a certain distance away, and he did not even have the strength to escape. Forget it, I'll leave it to fate. Such a powerful explosion might be able to open a crack, but I don't know if the Divine Realm tablet can withstand it. The light on the demonic dragon's body had become extremely faint. He glanced at the void particle energy cloud in despair and slowly disappeared into the Divine Realm tablet. He no longer had the strength to find his way. Boom. A moment later, the cloud of void particle energy exploded as expected, and countless forces shot out in all directions. The Divine Realm tablet, which had become aimlessly floating, was directly shaken into the endless night after being hit by one of the forces. The crowd did not feel any discomfort in the Divine Realm tablet's own world. They just anxiously surrounded Mount Inch, waiting for Yunxiao's news, not daring to say a word. Yuan Gohan's face was unprecedentedly solemn, and after a long time, he finally said, how can he not die from such injuries? He's only holding on with his conviction, but he won't be able to hold on for much longer. If you have anything to say to him, hurry up. What? Young Emperor Halian's eyes turned bloodshot as he roared, old man, what are you saying? Aren't you the chief of the spiritualist department in the Holy Region, a 9th-tier great alchemist? Do you think I won't slap you to death right now? There's nothing I can do even if you slap me to death, Yuan Gaohan said coldly. If we were in the Holy Realm or the Sea of Soul Formation, we might be able to save him with the help of a few 9th-tier alchemists. As for now, I'm only at the 8th step. At least, I'm powerless within my abilities. His expression was heavy, and it was obvious that he was feeling terrible. Yuan Gohan's judgment had undoubtedly sentenced Yun Xiao to death. Their heads buzzed, and their legs went weak. Ding Ling was even sobbing and begging Yuan Gaohan, but the latter kept shaking his head, as if he could do nothing. Young Master Yun, Mo Xiaochuan said indignantly, although your body is on the verge of collapse, your soul isn't dead. Moreover, your physical body isn't as badly damaged as you think. Master Yuan, you should at least do something. Maybe there will be a miracle. The others also watched eagerly, not giving up until the last moment. Yun Xiao was not only their master and Prince Charming, but also their spiritual pillar that would never collapse. Yuan Gohan's judgment was unacceptable to them. Yuan Gohan's brows furrowed. He understood everyone's feelings, but he was more rational than anyone else. Master Yuan, young Master Yun has the bright moon divine body, and the cultivation techniques he cultivates are all unparalleled in the world, Yunsheng said sadly. I can see that his injuries are well controlled, and there are no signs of further collapse. Yunsheng was also an alchemist. Although she was far from being an alchemist, she still had some basic judgments of her own. He has a god body? Yuan Gohan's heart trembled slightly and he stepped forward to carefully observe, saying,
Yeah.
I thought his wounds weren't serious, so I thought he was just using his mind to support himself. Now, it seems like his god body's energy has helped him a lot. However, I've never heard of this bright moon divine body before. Perhaps it will have further effects. Everyone was overjoyed when they heard this. Xiao Huanghalian suddenly said, Master, please do your best. By the way, young Master Yun still has a lot of spirit pills on him, all of which are supreme grade pills extorted from the merchant union. They might come in handy. Yuan Gaohan shook his head and said, it's not necessarily a good thing for the pill to be too powerful. Let's see if his divine body can withstand it. As long as he can withstand it for a few days, there's a chance for him to turn things around. Otherwise, even the gods can't save him. His words once again poured a basin of cold water on everyone. Their hearts that had just warmed up turned cold again. Suddenly, a cold voice rang out, who said I can't be saved? As everyone was dumbfounded, Yun Xiao, who was lying unconscious and seriously injured, suddenly sat up. His eyes flickered, and his face was pale. Everyone's mouth was wide open, especially Yuan Gaohan and Gu Yuesheng. It was as if they had seen a ghost. Yuan Gaohan's throat seemed to be choked by someone, and his eyes also bulged out. He said with difficulty, You coward. Young Master Yun. The rest of the people gathered around as if they had teleported, each and every one of them crying tears of joy and laughing wildly. Xiao Huanghalian even jumped up and was about to pounce on him. Yun Xiao frowned and said, Don't come at me. I don't have any strength. I'll really die if you throw yourself at me. Bang. Young Emperor Hulian's burly body was sent flying by Mo Xiaochuan's kick. The latter cursed, Pig. Young Master Yun, are you all right? We were so worried. Ding Ling said delightedly, with a smile and tears on her face. Yun Xiao kept probing himself with his divine sense, and his frown grew deeper and deeper. In the end, he said with a wry smile, I thought I was fine too. Now it seems that my divine body has collapsed and my soul's foundation has been damaged. If it wasn't for the demonic dragon returning to my body and stimulating my spiritual sense, I'm afraid I wouldn't have been able to wake up. Then will it be life-threatening? Luo Yunshang's face was filled with anxiety, and everyone's hearts sank again. Yun Xiao sighed. It's exactly as old Yuan said. If we can hold on for 3 days and let our divine bodies recover on their own, we will be out of danger and can enter a state of recovery. Otherwise, our bodies can collapse at any time and our souls will dissipate. It's that serious? Mo Xiaochuan's face was also extremely unsightly. Although Yuan Gaohan's diagnosis had made him feel as if his heart was filled with lead, his absolute admiration for Gu Feiyang had always given him great confidence. But now that Yun Xiao had said the same thing, he immediately fell into a panic. I knew it, how could there be hope? The special nature of your divine body can allow you to hold on for a while longer, Yuan Gaohan said. But it's just a dying breath. He didn't care about everyone's feelings at all and only analyzed the matter as it was. Immediately, he attracted everyone's murderous gazes, causing his expression to change slightly. He felt that he had been too direct. Young Emperor Hulian had been sent flying by Mo Xiaochuan's kick, but he was still extremely happy. He glared at Yuan Gaohan coldly and said, If anything happens to young Master Yun, I'll kill you first to vent my hatred. Don't be rude. Mo Xiaochuan shouted angrily. Master Yuan, please do your best to save him no matter what, he said earnestly. Yuan Gaohan was the secretary of the Sacred Zone Spiritualist Division, as well as Mo Huayuan's master, so he was still very respectful. I also want to save him, Yuan Gaohan sighed. To be honest, although I don't want to leave this Divine Realm tablet anymore, I don't want to stay here forever. If Yun Xiao dies, no one will be able to control the rules of the Divine Realm tablet, and none of us will be able to leave unless a new master appears. However, the Divine Monument is still shuttling through the void. Only God knows how many tens of thousands of years it will take for the next master to appear, it's up to Yun Xiao's own luck, he said helplessly. It's up to him. Everyone's heart sank when they heard this. Yunsheng forced a smile and said, Everyone, don't look so bitter. Don't you think that it's easy for young Master Yun to hold on for 3 days? Am I right, young Master Yun? Yunxiao smiled wryly. To tell you the truth, I'm not sure if I can do it right now. My life force is gradually dissipating. It's difficult. However, Ying Luo. His words made everyone's chest tighten and they felt a little breathless. Big tears fell from Yunxiang's eyes as she scolded, "Why do you have no faith? Are you still the Li Yunxiao I know?" "But what?" Mo Xiaochuan asked. "But I do have two ways to save myself," Yunxiao said thoughtfully. "I'm thinking about which one to use." Everyone. Of course it has a higher success rate. Mo Xiaochuan was overjoyed. Yunxiao chuckled. "I'm quite confident. Before the Kunwu divine tree was reborn, it promised to give me a trace of Tai celestial qi. With this scale, I can rebuild my physical body. Not only will my divine body's strength increase greatly, but my cultivation base will also break through to the 8 desolation realm. The Great One profound qi." Yuan Gaohan couldn't remain calm and said in shock, "The supreme mystical qi that nourished all living things when the world was first created and the universe was in chaos? The realm of heavenly martial arts has been around for countless years. How can such a legendary thing still exist?" Young Emperor Haolian was pleasantly surprised. "I've heard of this item before. Even the soil of the living earth is only formed after being nourished by the supreme mystical qi. I can't believe that the Kunwu divine tree has such a supreme treasure. I'm going to catch it and let young Master Yun eat it raw." Yunxiao was speechless. He shook his head and said, "It's a waste to refine such a divine item with my current cultivation base. Let's wait until my second method doesn't work." He looked up at Luo Yunxiang and said, "Yunxiang, do you still remember the time in the Light Song Forest when our bodies helped each other?" Yunxiang's face turned red in an instant. How could she ever forget that time when their divine bodies shone on each other, their spiritual senses blended with each other, and their hearts were connected? Yunxiang nodded shyly. Her eyes were burning, but she did not dare to look at Yunxiao. Her skeleton immediately attracted everyone's attention, and a strange emotion spread at the foot of Mount Innerheart. Everyone seemed to have understood something, and they nodded with strange expressions. Young Emperor Haolian clapped his hands and said, "I understand, it's the technique of gathering yin to supplement yang. It's said that when a man absorbs a woman's primordial qi and yin qi, he can strengthen his body. If he continues to absorb it, he can even reach the peak of martial arts." "Fuck, don't talk nonsense." Yunxiang's face was red and purple. She was so angry that the fire spewing out of her eyes almost burned Hulian Xiaohuang. "What a dirty man!" Yunxiao said angrily, embarrassed. "How dirty?" It was just that the divine bodies could sense each other and reach a state where they could forget about themselves and improve together. "I'm going to borrow Yunxiang's 9 Yang divine body to unleash the power of my bright moon divine body and repair my damaged body." Cough cough. Young Master Yun is definitely not that kind of person. "But let's all go out," Mo Xiaochuan interrupted. "Don't let anyone in to disturb young Master Yun's absorption." "Oh, no, I mean cultivation." Yuan Gaohan was taken aback. He sized up Yunxiang and said, "The 9 Yang divine body that Gu Qingqing had? I've heard of the connection between divine bodies, but I've never heard of such a case. After all, there are too few people who have a divine body. Perhaps it can really stimulate the potential in your body." Ding Ling felt a bit sour in her heart and said, "Then we can't delay this matter. Do you need us to prepare anything?" "No need," Yunxiao said. "I just need Yunxiang to cooperate with me." "Okay, then I'll leave it to you, Sister Yunxiang." Ding Ling smiled and reached out to hold Yunxiang's hand. Yunxiang's body trembled slightly, and she was a little flustered. "Don't worry, Sister Ling, I'll definitely cooperate with young Master Yun. No matter what he wants me to do, I won't resist." Ding Ling Ying Luo. The air suddenly stopped. Yunxiao was stunned and said, "I won't ask you to do anything, just cooperate with me to cultivate the Kasaya. If it's really inconvenient, then you can do it." "Convenient? Why would it be inconvenient?" "It was just a slip of the tongue, Sister Yunxiang," Ding Ling said. "If you had any bad intentions, we would have rushed in and hit you." This time, Yunxiang knew that she had said something wrong. Her cheeks turned purple like an eggplant, and she kept gesturing with her hands to explain, but everyone gave her an "I understand" look. We're out, young Emperor Hulian said loudly. Young Master Yun is going to pluck his essence. Whoever dares to disturb me, I'll be the first to take his life. Mo Xiaochuan coughed a few times and said, Young Master Yun, don't worry. I'll pluck your energy. Oh, no. I mean, cultivate. We'll keep a lookout for you outside and grab that Xiao Wu first. I think that child isn't being honest. If you find something wrong, we'll immediately bring Xiao Wu in. Yun Xiao's face was covered in sweat. He knew that these people were doing it on purpose, and the more he explained, the more troublesome it would be. After knowing that Yun Xiao had a way to cure him, everyone felt relaxed and happy, and their gloomy mood was swept away. Soon, everyone left, leaving only Yunxiang and Yun Xiao alone. They could still hear the whispers of several people outside, but they were not soundproof, so they could directly enter the two's ears. I've heard that the technique of plucking yin and replenishing yang requires a large number of girls of primordial yin. Young Master Yun is so seriously injured, I wonder if Miss Luo alone is enough. Miss Luo has a 9-yang body and is an outstanding disciple of Shinshao Palace. I'm afraid that she's too strong and young Master Yun won't be able to handle it. If his primordial yang is extracted, that would be terrible. That's true, but I don't think young Master Yun has a primordial yang body. Before he recovered his memory, he was a profligate young master. What kind of girl has he not played with? Well, that's true. It'll be troublesome if he doesn't have enough primordial yin. I wonder if he can harvest primordial yang to supplement his yang. There are quite a number of men in this divine realm tablet, and Li Yi's towering creation yang technique seems to be very powerful. Pfft. Can you not be so disgusting? Didn't she still have Miss Ding for primordial yin? Be prepared to send it in at any time. I'll beat you to death for spouting nonsense. With Ding Ling's angry curses, the laughter of the crowd gradually died down. This group of rude bastards. How dare they tease their master like this? Yun Xiao said in embarrassment. I was really blind to take them as my disciples. Luo Yunxiang pressed her head against the ground, not daring to raise it. They're just worried about you. After knowing that you've recovered, everyone is very happy. When Yun Xiao saw her obedient look and how she was ready to offer herself at any time, he felt a little dizzy and said, Don't listen to their nonsense. Just like last time, my divine body will shine and guide the original power of my body to repair itself. Yes. Yunxiang nodded, but she smiled wryly in her heart. What was the difference between that kind of spiritual connection and physical integration? Blushing, she knelt down in front of Yun Xiao and nodded. I'm ready. I'll teach you a seal. It can strengthen the connection between you and me, Yun Xiao said with a nod. Yunxiang did the same thing and soon mastered it. She made a lotus gesture with one hand and touched Yun Xiao's palm with the other. Immediately, she felt a cold sensation, which made her tremble shyly. The coldness of the palm grew colder and colder, causing her heart to skip a beat. She secretly reproached him. Young Master Yun's life was hanging by a thread, yet she was still thinking about such nonsense. If something happened to young Master Yun because of this, she would never be able to forgive herself for the rest of her life. With this in mind, he immediately pushed away all distracting thoughts and began to circulate his 9-yang genuine qi calmly. Yun Xiao was slightly surprised. He did not expect Yunxiang to enter the state so quickly, much faster than he had expected. A constant heat came from her palm, and he did not know whether it was the heat of the 9-yang true qi or Yunxiang's body temperature, but it gave his dying body a little warmth and warmth. At that moment, the divine realm tablet shuttled through the endless void. Suddenly, a crack appeared in front of it without any warning and swallowed the tablet directly. It was a clear sky inside, and they had finally returned to the heavenly martial realm. Without Yunxiao's control, they kept falling. In the end, it made a muffled sound and a huge pit was formed, and it sank into the ground. This loud sound immediately alarmed the people around. After a while, a few rays of light flew out and looked at the bottomless black hole in horror. In the north region, the holy city of Lanchue was detached from the continent and was located on the top of a snow mountain. It was surrounded by clouds and ice, and auspicious auras floated in the air. Rainbows crossed the north and south, making it a place of immortals. It was a magnificent palace supported by 72 pillars. People were coming and going in an endless stream. Everyone was in a hurry, busy and had no time to care about anything else. Most of the people were recording something in front of an ordinary table. There were all kinds of instruments on the table, operating in various formations of different sizes, transmitting and collecting all kinds of information. This was the intelligence department of the Holy Region. Every day, they had to record all kinds of news from the entire continent, and then analyze them one by one before sending some important information up. A young intelligence officer took the next message from his communication device and immediately checked it with his spiritual sense. Then, his expression changed into shock. The young man suddenly recorded the message on a jade pendant, left the work table, and ran to a corner. He said anxiously, "Deputy Secretary, it's not good." In the corner, a middle-aged man was sleeping with his legs crossed and drooling all over his face. After being woken up, he opened his drowsy eyes and took a deep breath, sucking the drool back into his mouth. He swallowed it and yawned. What could be more important than my sleep? Did Chen Duantian get a second wife, or did Dark North Palace annihilate a few more small sects? He was the only one who had the most leisure time in the entire hall, but he still showed a dissatisfied expression and shouted, "Why am I so unlucky? When it's my turn to be on duty, there's already so much messy news." He glanced at the celestial timer in the center of the hall and glared at the young man. He shouted, "Motherfucker. There's still half an hour before the shift is over, can't you delay the report by another hour?" The young man revealed a bitter smile and said, "If I delay reporting to Deputy Chief Yuming for an hour, he will skin me alive." This person was the Deputy Secretary of the Intelligence Division of the Holy Region, Wen Shu. He snorted and slapped the table. "What important information? Show me. If it's not important, I'll skin you alive." The young man hurriedly handed over the jade pendant. After Wen Shu took it, he touched it with his thumb and immediately stored all the information inside into his mind. His face was stunned and his brows furrowed as he asked in a strange tone, "There was a demon clan turmoil in Songyue City, and the Saint Realm Enforcer sent there was destroyed?" This message was sent by the captain of Golden Law Enforcement Vehicle Number 19, Liu Ji, the young man said. It should be true. A few days ago, he had received news from Songyue Yang City that the young master of the Four Extremes sect, Tang Jia, had colluded with the demon race. He must have been sent by the law enforcement department. That demon is really bold. How dare he kill our Saint Realm law enforcers? When Shu twirled the jade pendant around his fingers and played with it, he pondered, "Is there any news from the illusionary realm of stars and moon?" "There's nothing special," the young man shook his head. When Shu nodded, leaned back and crossed his legs again. He closed his eyes and said, "They should be some demons who are wandering outside, not a threat. It should be the time when Songyue Yangcheng is cultivating both martial arts and sorcery, and a large number of masters from the Merchant Union are gathered there. It's okay, I'll go back to sleep. Don't disturb me if there's no important news." This buy-in. The young man said anxiously, "But I've just tried to contact the intelligence officer in Songyue Yang City, but I couldn't get in touch with him. Moreover, this is the information sent by Liu Ji. Those demons did kill our law enforcers. Isn't this a big deal?"